Today, we will discuss factors that affect solubility. Our question of the day is, what are some ways that you can get sugar in a cup of coffee or tea to dissolve better? When solids dissolve in a liquid, which is usually water, the universal solvent, the water molecules need to move out of the way to make room for the solid to dissociate and dissolve. There are a few different ways to allow solids to dissolve quicker. One way is to increase the temperature. This is because the particles move quicker. They can spread further away from each other, and there's more space for the water to surround them. Another option is to stir or agitate the mixture. This will distribute the particles more. The third way is to have a low concentration. Because there's not a lot of the particles, the water can surround them all. The fourth way is to have a high surface area or crush your material so that, once again, the water can more quickly surround the particles. Don't forget that water can only dissolve substances when it can interact with them. So water only dissolves the surface layer. Now let's consider dissolving a gas. When gases dissolve in a liquid, usually water, the water molecules need to stay close together to ensure the gas bubbles don't rise up and escape. You can aid in dissolving gases by decreasing the temperature, so keep the gases from gaining enough energy to escape. You also don't need to stir or agitate because that'll spread out the gas and some of the particles will be closer to the top. The third thing is you need a high pressure to squeeze the bubbles down. Now pause the video and try the show what you know questions. When you are done, you may resume the video and check your answers. First, let's consider what determines whether a substance will dissolve. Well, it's the types of bonds it has as well as the electron distribution. So, ionic compounds dissolve readily, but covalent compounds will only dissolve if they are polar. Nonpolar will not dissolve. Next, what determines how fast a substance will dissolve? Well, this is decided by its solubility as well as several conditions. Its temperature, pressure, whether or not the solution was stirred/agitated, as well as the surface area of the solute. Number 3, name and distinguish between two components of a solution. Well, the solute is a substance being dissolved. It is typically the smaller quantity. However, the solvent, the larger quantity, is the thing which is doing the dissolving. Now explain why the dissolved component does not settle out of solution, aka it doesn't sink to the bottom. When compounds are dissolved, they break into ions, which are attracted to water. Ions cannot exist on their own. They must be paired with an opposing charge. Since the ions are surrounded by water, they cannot come in contact with each other and reform a solid, which is what would be required to sink to the bottom. Now, let's consider what different factors will do to different types of solutes. High temperature will cause a solid solute to increase its solubility. Solid solutes are not affected by high pressure. Increasing the surface area will increase the solubility of solids, as will stirring or agitating the solution. Gaseous solutes decrease their solubility in high temperatures because they will have a higher vapor pressure. However, high pressures increase the solubility of gaseous solutes. Surface area does not apply to gaseous solutes' solubility. Agitating a gaseous solute will actually decrease its solubility.